Hey guys, so today I'm going to talk about the Enviate program and what it's been like over the last 5 years or so. I guess to start with, I'll show you the trophy shelf, as I like to call it. I guess it's my little shrine of reminders of the kind of work it takes to do what I'm trying to do here. So we'll start right at the trophy shelf, I suppose. 2012 was the year that I personally drove the NSX that I built to a second place in the unlimited class, which was due to attrition. I think there were 12 entries that year, and 10 did not finish. I was one of 2 that finished, and the other one was a car built by Dennis Palatov, driven by David Donner. So coincidentally enough, we were actually running Palatov uprights on the Enviate, and we continue to race each other even to this day. And then we have the 2017 trophy, which was won by Paul Gerard, who, as you can see, is the author of Optimum Drive. Anybody see any similarities with the car on the cover, as well as throughout? Paul gave me the trophy, which was really cool. Obviously, if he ever wants it on his shelf, I'll be happy to ship it to him. You can see here, Paul was a good friend of Justin Wilson. He asked that he could run the sticker on the car for that year, and I said absolutely. And then over here, I drove the car in 2016 during Shakedown to a little victory in the local Empire Hill Climb. That was fun. And various hats and such. And then this is cool. So Van's Pattern does all of the foam CNC work for the car and the molds. And when I went to pick up the big molds, they made this for me just out of cobbled together parts, or parts of the CAD drawings. They had no full CAD drawings, so this was a cool little surprise from Van's Pattern. So that was fun to see. And then down here we have just a few different magazine mentions. This is from, the one on the right is from Grassroots Motorsports from the 2016 PRI show. This is from the 2017 race. There's Randy Moss, who won. This is in the latest Haggerty magazine, released just last month. Just a fun little picture. I did a technical article for them. I wasn't expecting any kind of coverage whatsoever myself, but I guess they had different ideas. And then over here I've got a couple different wings. This is a customer's wing that's in progress. Later in the week I'll kind of go over some more details of how the wings go together. And then this is a customer's second wing that he's ordered from me, Jeremiah Fox. He ran in 2014 Pikes Peak, or 2015 Pikes Peak, I'm sorry, and he did well with one of my wings as well. So now we're going to go out to the shop and I'll show you where the Enviate number 2 sits. That's Beastie Hatchback, which we're going to be campaigning throughout 2019 in various time attack events. I'll do more on this later. This will get its own episode. But staying warm and dry. And this is basically my shop. It's on my house property, but it is commercially zoned. So yes, it's home built, but it is legally done so. As you can see, here's some titanium bracing and soda. The shop is not that big, but I get a lot done inside it. So that's That's Enviate number 2 as it sits currently. But first I'll direct attention up to the wall here. This is all various parts. The white shell there is from the 2012 NSX that I finished second place. Same with the fender piece there and the door and the wing end plate. Now, up there, that's all that's left of that car. If you search Cody Loveland on YouTube, you'll see another video where about 30 seconds in there were some very large flames. I was okay, the car was not, and here we are, which led to the revamp and the re-envision of car 1, which has paved the way for where we're at with car 2. So what you see here is, you see the cockpit, you see the doors. They're all carbon fiber, of course. Extremely lightweight. I believe the cockpit is about 12 pounds, maybe less. The chassis portion here is 125 pounds, which is about a 50-pound reduction off the previous chassis at this point, because it's much skinnier and a lot less tubing. So if you can see, the chassis is a lot skinnier than the actual cockpit, and that's because chassis 1 was wider up there. Now what we discovered, or what I discovered, was that the airflow coming into the radiators was restricted based on the wider chassis. We don't need that much chassis, so car 2 is skinnied down. You can see in the background there, that's the wing mold for the Enviate program as well as the other wings that I offer. And then the latest part that I finished was the seat, which we made out of carbon fiber, and it is a pretty substantial reduction in weight over what was in there. It's 8 pounds versus 12 pounds and much stiffer. You kind of get the inside view here. Some close up of the fabrication. Chassis is all chromoly. Right now we're waiting on some updated rockers to optimize the rocker ratio, as well as some other fun fitment things. But yeah, it's I had to learn carbon fiber to build the car of my dreams, because I can fabricate around a lot of people on this planet, but carbon fiber I had no idea how to do, and that was the missing link. So pretty much all of 2015 was devoted to learning carbon fiber, as well as the molding and all of that. So, as any craftsman will say, they're never 100% happy with their work. There's always improvement. Same goes here. However, this looks pretty good. This is 100% raw. This has had no buffing, no finish work whatsoever. So, if I decide to actually leave it raw, it'll get a wet sand and it'll get a clear coat. So the next parts that we're going to be waiting for, or that we're going to be installing, are going to be the rockers, which you can see the integrated rocker post right there on both sides. It's extremely rigid and a part of the chassis. It's the new rocker is actually going to be a 40mm shaft, a hardened shaft that the bearings will ride on. Because car 1, we actually broke several sets of rockers and rocker posts. So car 2, that will not be a problem. You can see the substantial node for the chassis. And at some point we'll be getting our pedal box, which is probably going to be an OBP unit. They were supporters of car 1, as well as Beastie Hatch over there. So they'll probably be in car 2 as well. We just need to get the unit in hand and get it fabricated, and I'll cover all of that. But yeah, so this would be a year-long project getting this car done. A lot of work ahead. Next, I want to draw attention to the wheels that we'll be using. They're made by HRE. They're their forged monoblock versions, specifically made for the Enviate center lock hub design. The wheels are about 20 pounds a piece and extremely strong. We've put them through some pretty strenuous activities and have yet to have a single issue. The finish on them is just gorgeous. Wish we had sunshine, but we're in northern Michigan, so that doesn't really happen very often. But so these are just waiting for us to finish the car. Next up, I want to show you guys the carbon fiber brakes. It's pretty obvious who made these. But in 2016, Rob Smith from RPS reached out to me and said, I want my brakes on your car for testing at Pikes Peak. Of course, we obliged. These have 2 seasons on them, and they're hardly worn at all. These are the brake pads. They're also solid carbon. You can see the material is sandwich carbon there. What you're looking at is about 10 pounds. I think 9.5 pounds technically. And it's a 380 millimeter rotor. The steel version of this would be north of 25 pounds. So we'll be getting an updated set of these for car 2. These are from car 1. They'll probably go on Beastie hatchback for this time attack season. The next fun thing I want to announce is Rob from RPS has decided to turn one of his Datsun Z cars, I believe it's 1973, into an unlimited time attack car. I coined the name Zen V8, obviously because Z, but also because Enviate, because it is going to use the Enviate front and rear chassis portions, as well as the wheels, brakes, and suspension, grafted to the Nissan 240 or Datsun 240Z tub in accordance with time attack rules. Sadly, the Enviate itself was not legal for time attack because it's not a modulated car. So this is my answer to being able to continue to further refine the Enviate vision through Enviate aero suspension and overall ideas into something that's time attack legal. This will also take place throughout 2019. As far as the build, it's going to take a lot of time to get it done, but it'll be worth it. Rob plans on using, at this point at least, an iron block KA24 with a lot of boost and methanol powered. So until next time on the Enviate, we'll probably wait until we get the rockers done, or at least in the design stages. We'll step aside to some other projects. I plan on covering some carbon fiber work. I do have a wing to make this week, as well as wrapping up another wing. So I'll cover that process and show you guys how I get it done. Till then, see ya.